there will be no democracy in this country? Have we suspended on civil rights? Have we suspended the right of the opposition to raise issues that matter? You can't wash away the fact that this is what describes you. This is the legacy you will leave behind after 2024.
The order that has been issued is an order that is regularly issued by the ruling dispensation whenever there is a parliament session that takes place. And I have in front of me a copy of identical, I'm not saying similar, identical order issued in February of 2009 by the Congress government. Is this not hypocrisy?
ये एक प्रक्रिया है और ये प्रक्रिया लंबे समय तक चल रही है और आप सबको जानकारी है कि 2009 से ये प्रक्रिया चल रही है, उसके पहले भी प्रक्रिया चल रही थी।
Hello everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. Right ahead of the Parliament's monsoon session, the clash between the opposition and the Treasury benches has taken another turn. Just a day after the release of a list of new words that have been termed unparliamentary, another political war of words has erupted over a new circular, which states that demonstrations, dharnas, strikes, fasts, and even religious ceremonies cannot be conducted in the Parliament complex, the site that time and again has been used by the opposition to take on the government. The Congress Party's Jairam Ramesh has responded to the new rule with a jibe saying, and I quote him, Dharna mana hai, as the opposition claims this is yet another tactic by the BJP government to muzzle them after creating a red list of unparliamentary words. Countering the criticism, the BJP cited similar circulars that were released in 2009 and 2014. That was the UPA government. The 2009 order states, that is on your television screens, members are requested not to use the premises of the Parliament for any demonstrations, dharna, strike, fast, or for the purpose of performing any religious ceremony. This was repeated word by word in another order issued in 2021. So it's the same. The only minor difference in the 2022 order, the new one, is the usage of the word cannot instead of requested. However, this has presented another flashpoint ahead of the monsoon session. The question remains, is this a genuine point of protest or a manufactured controversy? Moreover, how does the government plan to find a way out, as it is its duty to ensure that the House functions smoothly? Joining me on the show, R.P. Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Amiben Yagnik is Member of Parliament of the Congress, Shagato Roy, Member of Parliament of the TMC, Neerja Chaudhary, Senior Journalist, Arti Agarwal is author and researcher. Amiben Yagnik, similar circulars were issued during UPA, same words. So, did the Congress then impose emergency or suspend rights of MPs, as you are saying has been done now?
If you see the past history, there have been disruptions, there have been some kind of demonstrations, but never any action has been taken. The circular has been telling everybody in the past that yes, there should not be these kind of movements in the Parliament or in the precincts of the House. Here, the fact is that this cannot be done, and coupled with the fact that there was a Suchi released yesterday with a lot of words that cannot be used and should not be used because they are amount to unparliamentary use.
Amiben Yagnik,
so
2009,
to practically
February 3rd, 2014. You want me to read it? Similar words. Members are requested not to use the premises of the House for any demonstrations, dharna, strike, fast, or for the purpose of performing any religious ceremony or the like. Members cannot use the premises of House for any demonstration, dharna, strike, fast, or for the purpose of performing any religious ceremony. Kind cooperation of members is solicited. What is the difference between what has been issued now and what was done in 2009, 2014, and your government is there?
The difference is the attitude in which it has been worded. Secondly, the series of events that have been taking place from the last suspension of the parliamentarians just because they would like to raise their voice and to make themselves heard on particular bills and to be a part of the debate, from suspension to staying near the Mahatma Gandhi statue and showing their protest that this cannot be done. They should be told about the reason why they were suspended. From that to raising a voice, to take the voice of the people to the parliament, to debate on that, to deliberate on that, to this circular. So
Okay.
you couple
So you're
everything,
talking about
and it
largely
seems that the freedom of expression
mistrust that
practically
is there
curbed.
between the treasury benches and opposition. I'll bring in RP Singh in just a bit, but before that, Saugata Roy, you are a veteran parliamentarian. Gandhi statue in parliament premises is the designated place for protests. All parties have been protesting there for decades. Then why this hue and cry over this circular?
Because it betrays the mindset of the government that they want to throttle the protests of the opposition. You tell me, if a member is suspended for some reason, like many opposition members were suspended during the last Rajya Sabha session. Throughout the session, they sat in Dharna in front of Gandhiji's statue. There was no disruption inside parliament at all. Now they want to stop that. Now we must lodge our protest. We know that in the past such circulars have been issued and they have not been obeyed. This time also the government will not be stopped dharnas in front of Gandhiji's statue. But the important thing is, why should the government do it? And you must remember that this instruction is followed by, is preceded by first Modi inaugurating a Ashok Stamp with the lions with his canine teeth beard.
Angry
then the
lion.
list of
Roaring
unparliamentary expression, angry lion, roaring lion from Gir, Modi's own state. And then unparliamentary words where even Nikamma is considered to be unparliamentary, even Rashtradohi is considered unparliamentary, and then all the words that we use to describe an incompetent government cannot be used because incompetent is supposed to be an unparliamentary. So these are actions taken in tandem, betraying the mindset of the government.
So you're talking about the
that
mindset.
It has got an authoritarian mindset. I am talking about the mindset, about the authoritarian
RP
mindset,
Singh, this is about
which is betrayed through series of actions.
Okay, series of actions being spoken about by Saugata Roy. He also says that yes, similar circulars have been issued in the past. So there is nothing new about it. Fine. What is evident here, RP Singh, is that there is a massive trust deficit between treasury benches and opposition. And given the brute majority that you enjoy, shouldn't you display that magnanimity and reach out to opposition to clear the air?
Maria, Punjabi mein, there's a saying in Punjabi which is called as "Aata gundi hildi kyun hai?" I am shocked. दांत शेर का कैनाइन बड़ा हो गया. ये मेरे पास 3 बार का अनपार्लियामेंट्री एक्सप्रेशंस की बुक है मेरे पास, 2009, 10 एंड 21. इसमें एक वर्ड है भैंस के आके बीन बजाना. समथिंग लाइक दैट्स हैपनिंग. So no one can help them. They want to manufacture this every day and on. You just read out the circular of 2009 and 2021. It's the same circle, cut, copy, paste. But they have to manufacture because they are not left with issues. I mean, they have no other issue to discuss. I mean, there are many more issues which can be discussed, the national security and other concerns which can be of the people at large. But they want to discuss those issues. They will discuss or bring issues which are non-issues. Just now, such a learned man from the TMC, he's talking about canine has gone by 1 inch longer than the earlier canine of the loin of the emblem. What are you doing, sir? People are laughing at you. Please, for God's sake, people elect you. It's people's money which you spend. Not only on TV channels. Can I never interrupted you, sir. Please, you are such a seasoned and senior person, sir.
Sir, people elect you, they spend money on you, it's people's money which is public money which is spent on parliament. Not for all such stupidities. I'm sorry to use this unparliamentary word, but not for such things which are happening. So let's think and draft better ways to corner the government. We'll appreciate that. Behave like a good opposition. Behave like a strong opposition.
Okay,
Come with good ideas. When we were just a two-member parliament, even then we used to work hard.
No. My question is, it's not about the number, but I'm going to talk about the number in your context. You have the number. You have the numerical strength. Then why are you not able to give that confidence to opposition parties that yes, they can come and raise concerns? Instead, it is becoming about the roaring lion, or now we are seeing this about similar circulars that have been issued in the past, again gaining importance before the monsoon session, again the similar list of unparliamentary words, because the impression that is being generated by opposition parties, and perhaps you may have given reasons as well, that there is some kind of authoritarian regime. You have to respond to that charge of authoritarianism.
I don't know what makes them think that the authoritarian regime. They have all the right to debate in the parliament. The leader of the opposition goes and hugs the prime minister and then winks and then goes back. Imagine, there's another gentleman who climbs up the table of the speaker, next to the speaker, and does a bhangra dance. You're talking about authoritarian regime?
Okay, Amiben Yagnik.
Someone who tears the paper and throws it on the...
How appropriate were the members of parliament when they jumped on the table and then they did what they did? And of course, it led to suspension. And at the same time, is the opposition really bereft of issues impacting people? There are issues. It is about inflation, rising prices. Why are that not important than issues like unparliamentary words and, of course, what has been said today and done by you all? It is more of a much ado about nothing.
But firstly, when all of them were suspended because they wanted to be heard, they raised their voices. Every party said that they wanted to come in, they wanted to speak, they wanted to debate, but the opposition, the ruling dispensation would not hear them, would not let the chairman also listen to all of us. And that is how it led to this kind of a ruckus, because they are here as representatives of the people of this country. And they would like to take the issues of the people of the country to the parliament to discuss and to come to a solution so that the people benefit from the bills that get passed. That was the reason people shouted, raised their voice, tried to attract attention of the honorable chairperson, and still they were not heard. And so that was a ruckus. Well, they were suspended. No reason was given because the action was in the earlier session. The result followed in the following session. We may not go into the nitty-gritties, but not an authoritarian regime. Let us say intolerant of certain words. Now, these words are asked by the common people on the street, that why there is so much untruth everywhere. So when you say asatya, you can't stand it because you don't have reason, you don't have answer, you don't have solutions, and you are running away from all the issues, whether it is inflation, whether it is economy, whether it is unrest in the country, whether it is the unemployment ratio, whether it is gender justice,
that is not
gap,
being raised by you
index.
all before the session. Every day in the morning, the kind of agenda setting that is being done by the opposition parties, yesterday it was about these unparliamentary words, a list of which has been issued for years after years since 1959, and today it is about this circular which has been going on since 2009. So if anything, questions will be asked that are you actually raising issues which concerns the common man? आम आदमी का आवाज आप कहाँ उठा रही हैं?
Because you can't raise issues, you do not want to hear the opposition, you do not want to hear the common people's plight, you create all these ruckus and you want to debate on that and you want to divert the issues. This is the reason. Why can't the honorable Prime Minister come and say that, okay, I am taking up the issues of the opposition. Let us have a debate on that. I will answer to all the questions. Has the Honorable Prime Minister come and given any answer in the Parliament, in the House? Has talked about unemployment?
Here is a member of Parliament raising questions.
Where do we stand? Where do we stand on the World Global Index?
Here is a member of Parliament asking questions. Please go ahead, RP Singh.
I'm sorry, I will again use the unparliamentary word. I'm sorry, they'll forgive me for this. Ma'am, I'll send you some Brahmi medicine which will help you to enhance your memory.
Maria, I am not
Every
here to
parliament
listen
session,
to this.
Prime Minister
Either
answers.
you take the questions and the answers.
Ma'am,
Please, I do not want
made a
personal
request.
comments.
Yes.
And I
I
don't
made
want
a
to hear
request.
any parliamentary.
RP Singh,
any
those are avoidable comments, please. No personal comments
Okay,
on my
I
show.
withdraw my
No.
words.
Please, I do
withdraw
not want
my
to hear
words.
Yes, he is withdrawn.
Okay, I withdraw my
Please
words.
withdraw your words.
Okay, I
I
withdraw
am
my
very much
words.
against that.
I'll
Please, I
rephrase
don't
them.
make comments on
I'll
other
rephrase.
panelists.
I withdraw them. I withdraw my words and rephrase them. Ma'am, I'm sorry, you must go through the logs of the parliament. Prime Minister has always answered each and every question. But issue is this a question that how long is the tooth of the loin of the emblem? Is that a question? Is that a question which is related to the nation today? No. You're talking about the book of the dictionary of expression of unparliamentary words, which has been done since 1954, not new. 66, 84, 2009, 2010, 2011. I mean, again and again has been brought out by various governments. And now today, the same circular cut copy paste of what can be done, what has to be done, what
Okay.
conduct of the parliamentarians.
Let me bring in Neerja Chaudhary and Aarti
Simple-
Agarwal now. Neerja Chaudhary, stage is set for what will be a stormy monsoon session, but unfortunately, it's not the issues of people, but more to do with conduct, decorum, which is making news.
I think the issues will also come up, Maria. I don't believe that the issues will not come up. There is Agnipat, there is prices, there is developments in Maharashtra, there are whole, this regulation of digital media, a law is supposed to come. So there are many serious issues that are foreign policy, China, all this will come up, I'm sure about that. But the issues that have been raised on the eve of the House's meeting
Yes.
are both very important. Now, it has been said that, there was a book like this with unparliamentary words earlier. Of course there was. And the Congress party also had this circular about not protesting in parliament. Now, I would say it's the same mindset. That is why the Congress party is out of power today. If parliamentarians cannot speak up, tomorrow it's going to be our free speech. And if the speaker has the power to expunge anything that he thinks is unparliamentary, to me that's good enough. If it's character assassination, or if there is something that goes against the national interest and security of the country, somebody gets up in the House and calls for secession, yes, the speaker has the right to do it. But to talk about corruption, even if that word existed and was expunged earlier, which it was, should it continue like that? Suppose if the Rajiv Gandhi might have been continued in power, if corruption could not be used in parliament. With this whole Boffer saga, which shunted him out of power. Indira Gandhi would not have been out of power if Tanashahi and dictatorship could not be used in the House. And I take you talk about Sharmnak and being ashamed. When the Nirbhaya took place.
Yes. If you can't use the word sexual harassment, then how do you talk about crimes against women?
I would have felt a sense of shame that should happen in our country and should not happen. As a result of that halla and gulla that took place in Parliament, you had Justice J.S. Verma and you had reform in rape law. So let's not, if we can't use words like this, now we are talking about MPs' rights. I remember, and RP may remember this also, during the emergency in 76, I remember, when I was in Himmat Weekly, what we were writing was being crossed out by the censor. Inside Parliament, there were parliamentarians who were warning Indira Gandhi, if you go on this path, there is going to be a one-party totalitarian state. They were raising their voice and they were allowed to raise their voice. And that is the way it should be in a democracy. If we don't safeguard this right, and RP, you have been a fighter for these rights in the past, where are we headed? It's not a very small thing, kitab bhi rahi hai, circular bhi raha hai. But is that the way we go? And particularly when the Prime Minister he goes abroad in India, is talking about India being a proud democracy, and so it should be and is. And we have to safeguard it. So to do this kind of thing, because you have an opposition who will stall, and I'm not one of those who believes that the opposition should stall parliament. They should get up there and make their points, have the cut and thrust of the debate, very sharply hold the government to account.
Government of the day accountable. Yes.
But instead of stalling, day after day after day.
Yes, RP Singh, quickly, and then I bring in Aarti Agarwal.
Neerja is a very learned person and very dear friend. And I assure you, Neerja, let time come, I'll prove myself again that I'm not going to come down on this. I stand by the freedom of expression and press. But again, these are words which can be expunged and are being reused. I mean, I'll give you, in 2000, I have a book which says in 2010, the word Dalal was expunged and it was again used in 2011 and again in 2020. I mean, it's being reused. I mean, it's just expansion. And then in what context, what word has been used? I just said, bhans ke aage been bajana is a word which can be unparliamentary, but it can be used in certain context. So in today's context, it's right word. That मैं भैंस के आगे बीन बजा रहा हूँ, nothing else. Okay. And again, they have all the right to use whatever word they want to use. They can protest, they can do whatever they want to do.
Aarti Agarwal, Neerja, what I said, and I asked that question to RP Singh right in the beginning of the show, that there is trust deficit between the Treasury benches and the opposition. And that trust deficit is only making every circular or every list about the form that is taking, the nature of discussion and debate is taking this twist. Aarti Agarwal, come in on this. You heard various sides. The opposition is fuming and they say that if anything, there is a pattern to the manner in which the government has been trying to really throttle any criticism of it. And that is the reason they are worried about it.
So, Maria, I agree with everybody having the freedom of speech, especially parliamentarians having the freedom of speech for criticism. But the kind of behavior we see in the parliament, I feel ashamed as an Indian to see the kind of behavior, the kind of ethics these people bring to the parliament. It's supposed to be the temple of democracy, the way they behave. It is so raucous. It is so, it's like rowdies, it's like gundas over there. That's how they behave. And I'm ashamed to call these people my parliamentarians. That is not freedom of speech, using abusive behavior. See, I listen to parliament sessions many times, and I'm not able to make sense of the criticism. They need to criticize on intellectual, on logical points, but all they do is hallabol over there, right? Just creating a ruckus. That is not freedom of speech. Just creating a ruckus and making your whole country feel ashamed of electing you as parliamentarians is not freedom of speech. The second thing about the whole, the protest outside the parliament thing, in principle, I think it is a bit of an overreach. But if you see the history, I'm not talking about the 25-year history, just see the kind of riots we've had in the last 3 years in this country. Has there been a single has there been a single protest which has not been violent? It has not been destruction of public property. Has there been a single protest where people have not come out with weapons in the open? When we have seen that in the last 3 years, protests have become violent. People have been aggressive. There is nothing like a peaceful protest.
No, but Aarti, we are not talking about that. We are talking about what is happening inside Parliament. We are talking about this circular and the list of unparliamentary words that have come out yesterday. Let's start wrapping the debate, and I'm going to begin with Saugata Roy. Saugata Roy, the question is also that yes, there seems to be a problem here on both the sides, but I'm trying to understand, sir, it's not the duty of the government to ensure that there is a strong opposition. The opposition also is a divided house. Do you think that is also making opposition perhaps have less voice, or the voice doesn't have enough heft? Because what we saw in the last session, the TMC and the Congress were not getting along. The TMC and the Aam Aadmi Party were not getting along. So that absence of opposition unity is also making it project as a weak opposition.
No, this argument that you are making is a weak, bogus argument. That the opposition is divided, that's why government can act in an authoritarian manner. There may be differences between TMC and Congress outside, or Aam Aadmi Party and Congress outside. But within the parliament, they act as an opposition together. It's an long established practice that there is a floor coordination and floor unity. So what you are saying has no traction. And secondly, I do not think it's the government's duty to have a strong opposition. Opposition will have to grow strong by itself. This opposition wants a Virodhi Mukt Bharat. They want an India in which there will be no opposition. That's why slowly they are stifling the voice. You belong to the media. Now think of it, 2 years for COVID, we did not allow the media into the central hall. And even we banned the media from the parliament galleries. Now COVID is almost over. Is there any word of resuming journalist entry into central hall or into the parliament galleries? The government slowly wants to take away the democratic rights of different sections of people, and it's naturally targeting the opposition. And its mindset is set by Modi, who has brought the Gir lion to top of the parliament. You know, the next new parliament building will have no central hall, so that members can talk with each other. They are trying a system in which open dissent and open discussion will not happen. This is something we have to protest.
Okay.
That's why we are protesting against the gag order of the government, who want to stop use of the word like Jumla Jibi, corrupt, dictatorial, Tanasha, Binash Purush, Khun ki kheti, etc., and also words like ashamed, abused, betrayed, corrupt, hypocrisy.
All right.
And then they follow it up with a ban on any demonstration inside the parliament.
All right.
What will a person who suspended from parliament do? Where will he lodge the protest?
Okay, we'll see
We
how
must lodge
the
protest from
monsoon
here and
session
now
of parliament
so that the government is on the
plays
wrong
out.
foot.
Shaukatul Roy, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Amiben Yagnik, RP Singh, Neeraj Chaudhary and Aarti Agarwal. On that note, we are slipping into a short break. Coming up would be a special interview with Mithali Raj and Tapsi Pannu.